A few weeks ago, Nothing offered to send me their latest phone, the 3A Pro, as part of their community program. Essentially, I'd get the phone for free ahead of launch, and after testing it, I'd have to publish my opinions on this device today. I ended up accepting the offer, as it would have been a great opportunity to finally expand on an idea I've been throwing around since the beginning of this channel, basically. I said it 2 billion times, but smartphones have reached maturity. All the low-hanging fruit has been picked up, so meaningful innovation tends to become more rare. Only the most difficult, usually systemic, problems and opportunities remain. An interesting side effect of this is that while flagships struggle to gain anything that moves the needle, mid-range devices are closing the gap. This phone, on paper, is not a flagship, but in practice, most of the stuff that not even that many years ago you only found on the most expensive models is here. Always on display, OLED, a 120Hz refresh rate, ultra-wide and periscope lenses, ridiculously slim and perfectly symmetrical display bezels. Old stuff that used to be the difference. And okay, sure, the camera quality can always improve and so can performance, in theory. The only way I found to make it visibly struggle a bit was with some games. Call of Duty Warzone in some game modes at higher graphical settings was the only one that ran bad enough that it was distracting. And even then, it never really overheated as far as I could tell. But it's all going to be diminishing returns from here on out. If you want my takeaway, this is a good phone. My only real complaint when it comes to everyday usage is that it's absolutely gigantic, like most other phones really. But after testing it these past few days, just using it for everything I could think of, this is the only possible verdict I can give. So if innovation plateaus, all phones reach a similar baseline of functional quality regardless of brand and pricing bracket, what does this post-scarcity future look like? Will everyone just keep making the same phone over and over? Some probably will. The huge brands especially do have additional modes that will keep the revenue flowing in, but what about everyone else? And how will they keep giving people reasons to choose the flagships? Finally, it's time for the more interesting stuff, because this phone is a great example of the only possible direction. Nothing understands better than most that to be noticed in a market where a certain level of quality is expected as the bare minimum, you need a personality, you need a specific style, something that resonates a lot with a niche, even at the cost of not being for everyone. This is exactly what they're doing. Just look at this thing. You can say anything about this design, but not that it's safe. It's very asymmetrical, weird and divisive. Personally, as you can guess if you know me, I do like it, a lot. Their whole aesthetic is very sci-fi in a way. Not the clean type of sci-fi, but the more mechanically organic one. Every choice they make is because of the target they've chosen. Young, creative people who like technology and design. Even the new AI feature that they dedicated a whole button to. It's not a random thing they added just because. It's basically that concept of the second memory. A repository of stuff you want to remember for future reference and projects. It makes sense within that context of young, creative people. I gotta be honest though, they said it's early access. You can tell. Whenever you capture something, it takes the whole screenshot. If there's a way to cut the selection or make it focus only on a specific part, I didn't find it. And the way it groups your captures is just in a grid. I think there's better ways of presenting this stuff. At least the only part that can be fixed with an update is good from day one. The new button has a different finish and shade, so you can tell which one is which without looking. This should be an obvious detail to consider even to a beginning designer, but you'd be surprised. Regardless, everything here is directionally correct. In the future, I'm expecting similar success stories from this side of tech to emerge because of a similar strategy. That only covers how brands will compete with each other though. What about internally? What other meaningful distinctions can even be found that will keep people spending approximately $1,000 on a phone? My best bet at the moment is that, again, it involves specialization. Features that alleviate problems of that specific target, as well as stuff like the build quality and aesthetic. Sure, on paper you will technically continue to find a better SoC and camera system in the flagships, but I don't know if they can keep being the focus. This trend, by the way, goes much further than this. I have a way more detailed video on the topic, where it's just a part of something bigger. Check it out if you want to see the other effects I think it'll have on the industry. Ciao!